Thanks for this new day to live and work among your creation and your people. As we gather, we are mindful of your many children without access to those basic necessities most of us take for granted. People in Texas, in China, and elsewhere whose homes and lives are devastated by floods. Families in Gaza going hungry, their communities laid to waste around them. Wild spaces and settled regions in Canada burning in uncontained fires. Increasing numbers of persons living homeless in our own neighborhoods. And yet we gather in the beauty and majesty of your creation. We gather mindful of the gifts and resources with which you bless us every day. We gather in the hope that today brings new opportunity. Help us to trust you, to respect your bountiful creation, and to love and serve your people. Amen.
I knew that, but I didn't want to say it. Okay, we'll move on to item number 2 on the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the July 30th, 2025 Board of Commissioners meeting as submitted.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to Mr. Dahl for his report.
All right, good morning. So the one item I'd like to discuss, actually, our Executive Director, Melissa Leathery, she's the Executive Director of Human Services. She's going to be sharing about our block grant submission. So, thank you.
Morning, everyone. Again, my name is Melissa Leathery, Executive Director of Human Services, and I am here to present the York County Human Services Block Grant for 2025-26. Next slide, please. As always, we are certainly dedicated and committed to the York County Strategic Plan. Just want to highlight that. Very focused on those 4 areas of vision, mission, purpose, and core values. Next slide, please. As far as the Human Services Division, I'd just like to break down what those divisions actually are and what exists within the Human Services Department. And as you scan across the PowerPoint slide, we have Health Choices Management Unit, Mental Health Intellectual Developmental Disabilities Program, Drug and Alcohol Commission, Office of Children, Youth, and Families, Area Agency on Aging, Youth Development Center, Juvenile Detention Center, and Protection from Abuse. We have 2 specialists that work in that area. Next slide, please. A little bit about departmental highlights overall. I'm very proud to report a lot of successes and things that we've been able to accomplish and work on. In MHIDDs particularly, we are doing a co-responder program, and we continue to work on maintaining that and also sustaining that program. With JDC, which is our Juvenile Detention Center, we're happy to report that we have opened and are an 8-bed licensed facility, fully staffed and fully functioning at this time. YDC, which is our shelter program for youth, very appreciative that there were renovations completed, which honestly makes such a brighter and better place for children to be. And so we are so happy that that's been able to be completed and resolved. Health Choices, we are in the midst of working on the development of 2 programs, one in York and one in Adams County for behavioral crisis walk-in center. We will hope that that will divert from the emergency departments and give people an opportunity and a place to go when they might be experiencing, unfortunately, a behavioral health crisis. York Adams Drug and Alcohol Commission, we have what is called the PORT pilot program. PORT stands for Post-Overdose Response Team. And in that program, we are starting a pilot in the Hanover area where we will have a certified recovery specialist who teams up with the co-responder to be able to assist individuals in the community that might be having some drug and alcohol issues at the time. We also were able to implement a gambling prevention advertisement on Rabbit Transit and to be able to educate and assist individuals with where to seek help for that particular addiction. Children, Youth, and Families, just want to highlight, they were able to decrease the number of children and youth in out-of-home placements by 33% since March of 2020, and we were also able to implement recruitment and retention strategies to enhance their staffing. And in the Area Agency on Aging, we've been able to do some staff trainings. Protective Services staff attended what's called a Decisional Ability Assessment Tool training. It's called IDA. And also the agency completed a Sage Care Platinum credentialing program, which is leadership training on cultural competency. Next slide, please. Human Services Block Grant, just to specifically get into the actual contents of the grant. Historically, we have been participating in that since 1718. It does allow for greater flexibility. We're able to move funds and allocate them to where the most need is and where that exists. The funding streams include a homeless assistance program, the Human Services Development Fund, the Mental Health, Intellectual Disabilities Community-Based Programs, and then the Drug and Alcohol Behavioral Health Special Initiative, which is an entitlement program. Next slide, please. The 3 departments that participate in this particular block grant is York Adams MHIDD, the York Adams Drug and Alcohol Commission, as well as the Human Services Department. A little bit about the actual budget for the Human Services Block Grant. For the fiscal year 25-26 estimated, we are looking at a budget of around $17.8 million with a county match of 3.38%, which is about $604,000. This equals approximately 8% of the total Human Services Division budget. And as you see, as you look at the pie chart, you have mental health services who certainly receives the bulk of that grant money at 12.7. You have IDD services who receives around 3 million. Substance use is about 676,000. Homeless assistance services is 1.1 million, and Human Services Development Fund about 282,000. Overall, human service departments that I covered a little bit earlier really does equate to about 300 million. So we are very appreciative to be able to have assistance through this block grant. Next slide, please. Block grant review, just a few highlights of some of the things that this block grant allows us to continue to focus on and work on. This past year, we were able to do some really wonderful things with housing. We were able to provide Bell Family Shelter with additional funds, which enhanced their staffing for direct care with their salaries. They were able to create additional night watch positions, and they serve over 70 individuals each night, which is just a fabulous thing to be able to report. Established also a collaborative protocol where we're able to work with Bell Shelter and the York County Emergency Management. So if we have individuals that have a disaster and unfortunately experience that, and we have no resources available, that we are able to link them to Bell for that emergency situation. Next slide, please. York Adams Drug and Alcohol Commission, a few highlights about them. Next slide, please. Clients served with this grant, we were happily able to approximately serve about 134 clients in inpatient settings through this block grant allocation. For those 135 clients, we were able to actually fund and pay for 1,931 days of service. The Human Services Block Grant also has helped pay for housing assistance for individuals who are not under the SOAR grant, which stands for State Opioid Response, and we were able to approximately serve around 60 individuals through that block grant for that purpose. Next slide, please. Some other accomplishments, we were able to distribute around 2,500 units of Narcan to 298 entities, and there were 104 lives saved. With warm handoff, and that's the ability to be able to, if someone's experienced and survived an overdose, it's then a warm handoff to potentially be able to connect with them and have them linked to services and treatment. We were able to reach out to 276 individuals, and 149 of them did accept treatment, which we're certainly very grateful for. Post-opioid or post-overdose response, again, I want to highlight that we are starting to work on attaching the certified recovery specialists, which are referred to as CRSs, with the police co-responder team, which will be extremely helpful moving on in the future. Next slide, some other initiatives for the York Adams Drug and Alcohol Commission are prison initiatives, and we had to try to ensure substance use disorder services are available for individuals that are incarcerated. We also provide supports as individuals are re-entering into the community. For school and community-based prevention, we do provide evidence-based services and evaluation within the school systems, as well as I highlighted earlier, the gambling initiatives to not only promote education around this particular addiction, but to also provide some direct services for assistance. Moving on to the next slide, under Mental Health and Intellectual Developmental Disabilities Program, Just want to highlight a few priorities that they're focusing on in the community for residents. We are continuing to work on growing mobile responses as well as with the co-responders and mobile crisis, and we particularly work with WellSpan through that. Supporting development, again, of the behavioral health walk-in centers, and also case management, co-location, and outreach, which we are embedded in multiple school districts to provide assistance in that manner. Next slide, please. And the next slide. In intellectual disability and autism, as far as the priorities there, we want to continue with multi-year growth strategy, which is in line with the Office of Developmental Programs. We also are providing incident management. We are processing eligibility and waiver selection process for those individuals that have developmental disabilities. And we also are embarking on, with the state, performance-based contracting. Supports coordination unit, we're working on incident management, and we are participating in a Stepping Up initiative, and we're also increasing in-person monitoring of the services, and we do have some newer staff in that department that we're providing training for. So we always are growing and working. So at this point, I just want to make sure that I note we are extremely always appreciative of this particular Human Services Block Grant. We do hope that we receive that for this coming year when we apply for that, and have hope that that will come to us hopefully soon. And we just hope that it's going to continue to support us to do what we do and how we do it, and the services that we provide to the community, which are extremely necessary. Any questions or any comments regarding the report?
I would just call out in particular the Bell Shelter collaboration and innovation. It's, I think, one of the things that we do well in the county is collaborating with stakeholders. Tony and his team had a need, and you guys met, and we were able to work something out. So I think that's a great example, as well as the housing, working with emergency management. That's been a need in our community that's been unserved, and I think it's a great example of York County leading the way and taking care of some of the most vulnerable in our community. And lastly, I would just comment the Stepping Up initiative that York County was recently highlighted at the National Association of Counties meetings for their work around stepping up. So we're seen as a role model, not just in the Commonwealth, but across the country. So thanks for all your efforts.
I'd just like to say thank to you and all your staff for this comprehensive report and your great work. I think the county and the employees really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So if there's no other questions for Melissa, I'll pass it back to Mr. Dahl.
Okay, thank you for doing the heavy lifting part of my agenda, or my piece of the agenda. So that concludes my report.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Dahl?
None.
Hearing none, I will open up for any public comment as it relates to items on the agenda. Hearing and seeing none, if we can move on to new business.
Madam President, I move to adopt the items listed this morning, numbers 1 through 13, as presented.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. There were no executive sessions since our last meeting. Under other business, we already heard from Melissa Leathery, so we will not have a presentation on the Human Services Block Grant. But we do have something very special today. I think most of you are aware that the county collaborated with Kelly Gibson and her staff at the Culture Alliance last year to launch our I Voted Design sticker contest, and it was a huge success. So we decided to do it again. And we are joined today by the winner of the I Voted Design sticker contest. It is a very nice young man from Logos Academy. And so I'm going to let Kelly Gibson and also Brian Schaefer come up and share a few words, and then we want to acknowledge our contestant winner. So Kelly or Brian, whoever wants to go first. So while Kelly's walking over there again, I do want to commend Kelly and her staff. Whenever we reach out to them for innovative, creative ideas in York County, she is always there to help, and we appreciate her.
Thanks, everybody. So I just want to welcome the Desir family, Christopher, his dad, and his brother. Thank you for being here today. You know, the commissioners, you all brought this to us last year, and we are the first community in central Pennsylvania to have an I Voted Design sticker contest. And I was just walking down the street with this poster you're about to see, and 3 people, random strangers, stopped me to say how wonderful it was to have a sticker designed by a local student last year's election. So it really does make a difference in the civic pride that people have and really educating our youth on why it's important to vote and what that civic duty means even before they're able to vote. So I want to just say again, thank you, Christopher, for putting in a design. It was a hard decision. Our panelists are election judges, they're educators, and they're artists. And it's always a tough decision each year. And they were really blown away by the clarity, the message, and the very specific call out to York County you're about to see in Christopher's design.
Good job.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Today we have the special joy of recognizing a young artist who has done something truly remarkable and inspiring for our community. Christopher's design was selected as the winner of this year's I Voted Sticker Design Contest. Now, I know what some members of the audience might be thinking. A fifth grader designing something that voters all across the county would probably wear, and that's absolutely right. Christopher's artwork stood out among many submissions from students of all ages, and his beauty captured the spirit of what voting means, and that's community pride. Sharon Salzberg once said, "Voting is the expression of our commitment to ourselves, one another, this country, and this world." The sticker might seem small, but it represents something very big. Every time someone wears it, they're showing that they participated in our democracy and that they made their voice heard. And now, thanks to Christopher's imagination and talent, that message will be shared with tens of thousands of voters. What makes this even more exciting is that reminds us that young people are not just the future, they're actively making a difference right now. So to Christopher, we say congratulations. Keep using your voice, your art, and your heart because the world needs them. Thank you.
So we'll ask Christopher to come up, and Kelly and Brian, and they can unveil the design. All right.
Good job.
Good job. It's exciting. The only other comment I wanted to make under other business is this week is National Farmers Market Week. And we have a lot of farmers markets in the county of York, whether you're in Hanover or on the east side of the county. So we would encourage you to please go out and visit our farmers markets this week. So with that, I will open it up for any public comment. Morning.
Thomas Paul, I'm of the city of York. I'm very passionate about voter integrity and election integrity, and I want to say something about the word hatred. There's a gentleman by the name of James Carville who was one of the primary people in Bill Clinton being an 8-year president. He actually, by name, described Pennsylvania in this way. It has Philadelphia on one side, Pittsburgh in the other, and Alabama in the middle. And like Mike Argento of the York Daily Record, he referred to us as Pennsyltucky in an effort to smear and insult people like myself, and the rest of us for that matter, who don't live in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh as being smart, intelligent, educated, or moral. He said this because he was angry with the fact that some of the most conservative people in the United States live between Philadelphia and Pittsburgh and are very much a part of Pennsylvania. And they resent people of power like James Carville. When you stand to the right-hand side of Bill Clinton, a president of the United States, you do have a lot of power long after you're out of the White House. It is important that when we have immigrants here, they are legal immigrants, because being an illegal immigrant by itself is breaking the law. To anyone who aids and abets or profits or is empowered by illegal immigrants being present, that's a crime as well. So I think that we have to remind ourselves, because knowing this fact that free speech is an American quality, we have to remind ourselves of things that we already know and know them more clearly and more thoroughly. That free speech means you don't have to accept or approve everything I say, and most likely I have to realize your free speech means I don't have to accept and approve everything you say. And that includes voting and having a choice and a chance for the candidate or candidates you want. This area has a target on it that we should flood our county and this part of Pennsylvania between Philadelphia and Pittsburgh so that people like me will see this state become like California, New York, and Illinois, Maryland, and the state of Washington out west as being a one-party rule state. There's only 6 to 7 states that decide 6 to 7 states in America, Pennsylvania being the biggest of all those, that we'll have a two-party system in this country and be able to have our choice for president, U.S. senators, and obviously other offices. Any political office is important. But I'm not going to be quiet about the fact that I want to see Immigration, Customs Enforcement, ICE, come here and take every single alien, illegal immigrant from this place and not allow them to vote. And furthermore, the fact is that there are certain immigrants that are preferred over others. Asian immigrants and immigrants from are not desirable because they'll vote more likely like me than the desirable candidate of James Carville. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Hearing and seeing none, if I could have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, we are adjourned, and we will move on to salary board.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the July 30th, 2025 Salary Board meeting as submitted. Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I will open up for any public comment as relates to items on the agenda. Hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to item number 4.
I make a motion to approve the positions, salaries, hours of work, and fringe benefits as provided by existing collective bargaining agreements or as set forth in the York County Employee Handbook or York County Policy Manual for the following departments and row offices as stated below, with no additional benefits or concessions unless otherwise noted, and there is listed in the agenda. Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. There were no executive sessions since our last meeting. I will open it up once again for any public comment. Hearing and seeing none, if I could have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, we are adjourned. Have a great day, everyone, and please go visit a local farmer's market. Thank you.